When Amber Griffin disappeared, those who knew and loved her spoke of her in the present tense, the only option for the hopeful. Perhaps, as her boyfriend told them, Amber had just walked away on her own. Or perhaps not. Now, they speak of her in the past tense. So, I mean, there's a lot of holes here. Did you guys dig these?
A lot of random people have been back here digging, yes. Yeah. So it's kind of hard, and I feel like this area right here, but it's like we're gonna have to go back over it and shovel back through it.
The evidence, police say, suggests that she was the victim of a brutal homicide, even though they still have not found her body.
She didn't just disappear, no. She wouldn't have.
Amber Griffin's mother, Carmen Griffin, also speaks of her in the past tense, except when she's with Amber's children. Amber is, or was, her only child.
She loved the kids. They loved being around her.
And they still think she might be alive.
Yeah, and her daughter especially.
Amber was the mother of a 7-year-old boy and an 11-year-old girl. She never missed a day of work on the HVAC line at Denso Manufacturing in Battle Creek. It was on Monday, June 22nd at 10:02 p.m. that Amber last texted her mom. Tell DC and Mello I love them and I promise life will be better for all of us soon. Her mom did not see that text until the next day. I got some food from the food bank. Come get it, she texted her daughter back. 10 pounds of chicken fajita strips, LOL. No response. Amber and her longtime boyfriend, Derek Horton, lived here in Bedford Township, in a cluster of campers in a corner of Creek Valley Mobile Home Park.
She lived right down here.
Richard Hines was on his porch made of wooden pallets when Amber's boyfriend drove up in the couple's car on Tuesday night, the day after Amber's text to her mother. He asked to use Hines' phone.
Well, he come driving in without her because I didn't see her. And then he come over and said, to use my phone, said, well, she took off walking.
The next day on Wednesday, June 24th, Amber's boyfriend told her mom that she had walked away 2 days earlier from that trailer park.
He said he'd been out looking with his family.
Amber's mom and the boyfriend reported her missing that day to Battle Creek police. Where are you? Amber's mom texted her. I reported you missing. We are looking for you. Call me, please. I am worried about you. Where are you?
That is where we went down.
Battle Creek Detective Sergeant Joel Case is leading the investigation.
His original story was that she was outside listening to music in the vehicle, and she just must have up and walked away. Left her ID, her wallet, her phone, her insulin. She's insulin dependent. The original case kicked off as us just trying to find her, going under the assumption that she had actually walked off. You know, knowing she was insulin dependent and left without her insulin. She could have been laying in the woods, you know, she could have passed out.
Police quickly grew suspicious. She always texted her mom back.
Find out that she's never done a no-call, no-show to work, and that was the first day that it happened. His timetable of when he last saw her and what he was saying happened as far as her voluntarily walking away from the camper, you know, we were able to disprove that whole time period pretty much immediately.
Their suspicions grew when they found blood on the outside of the passenger side door of Amber's 2003 Chevy Impala.
He admitted that some of the blood that was in the vehicle was hers, but he's trying to say that it was from her cutting her finger on like a Patron bottle or a liquor bottle when it fell and she cut her hand.
Police later found blood in the car's trunk. Then there was a history of reported violence. Last year, Horton was charged with assault with intent to do great bodily harm, and months later, with domestic violence. Both times, Amber was listed as the victim. In one case, records show he was accused of assaulting her at the O'Connell Lodge in Battle Creek, where he was living.
She had jumped out of a 2-story hotel window, trying to get away because she said he was going to kill her and she couldn't get out the door. So she, out the window, broke both wrists, broken nose.
She says that Amber signed herself out of the hospital the next day.
I took her home with me. 20 minutes later, she's gone.
I have never been convicted of
Her mom says she tried repeatedly to get her to leave him.
Until she met him, like, she loved to go out and have fun with her friends and hang out with us and the kids. And she got with him, it was like, no, Can't come around nobody. Always beat up.
Court records show the assault charges against Horton were dismissed.
She was scared of him. And she knew, like, she could not go to court. He was not going to let her go to court. And she wouldn't leave him or couldn't leave him because he would threaten to do something to me or the kids.
Oh, hi, is this Deshaun? The father of Amber's kids, Deshaun Colbert, is in prison for life without parole for a murder and armed robbery 8 years ago in Battle Creek. He says he spoke by phone often with Amber, who told him that she feared for her life at the hands of her boyfriend.
She told me, like, most of the time, though, he would just beat her up, but it was on several occasions that he had pulled a gun out on her. For her kids, because, like, when I talk to them, my son, he still think that she might come home.
They raided that camper.
A neighbor says Amber and her boyfriend had lived in the camper at Creek Valley for only a few weeks, but long enough for him to realize that something was not right.
She had black and blue eyes while here.
You saw her with black and blue eyes?
This man was very abusive. They invited me in their trailer and she looked at me. I didn't understand the look at that time, but I think it was a look for help, and I didn't notice it, and I wish I would have, because I would have tried to save her from that man.
Police suspicions grew even more when they discovered a 911 call had been made from Amber's phone at 2:02 in the morning on Tuesday, June 23rd, just hours after that text she had sent to her mom. Remember the text that read, quote, "I promise life will be better for all of us soon."
911, where's your emergency?
Amber's mom listened to some of the 911 call, just enough to ID the voices of her daughter and Derek Horton.
I heard him say, "Why would you do that?" And she's like, "Why does it matter?" And then in the distance, like, you can just hear her screaming, and they're getting away from the phone.
So the last time you've heard your daughter's voice was having to listen to her 911 call?
Yes.
Even with GPS, police at the time that 911 call was made could not pinpoint where it was coming from, couldn't find the screaming woman.
They were checking the area that the phone call came in. So when they checked the area, they didn't see anything.
They found nothing. For police, the discovery of that days-old 911 call was still not enough to arrest Derek Horton. Police learned that the 911 call had come from this home on Oneida Street, and that Amber and her boyfriend had been here.
It wasn't really a party. It was
a
a gathering. A couple of people hanging out. You know, they were smoking weed, drinking booze, hanging out, having a good time.
Hi. Hey, I'm a reporter from Wood TV. Hoping to talk to somebody about the disappearance of Amber Griffin.
Charles Walker III owns the home on Oneida. Police say his grandson, who is now charged as an accessory, is a friend of the accused killer.
Yeah, they said there was a house party here and that Derek Horton was here and that she was here.
No.
No?
They said she was, I guess they might have been outside, but nobody ever came in the house or anything. And,
Yeah.
but if anything went on, it was on outside.
Do you know her or Amber?
No, I never met her or whoever
Okay.
they say.
Okay. What about Derek?
No.
You didn't know him either?
Nope.
Okay.
Walker said he went to bed at 11 that night, 3 hours before Amber's 911 call for help. When police searched his house days after she was reported missing, they found signs of a struggle.
Blood on all 3 levels of the house, the basement, the main level, and the upstairs portion of that house.
Like a lot of blood, you're talking?
A pretty significant amount.
Enough blood to indicate that she was killed there?
Not necessarily.
They also found blood and hair on a basement window, the glass broken outward, as if Amber had tried to escape.
I think that she was doing everything in her power to get away from him. That's why I think that there was a violent struggle that was taking place in there because of the numerous floors, you know, like I said, basement, main level, and upstairs portion of the house with blood.
Walker, the homeowner, says he heard none of it. Police say their investigation has found he was not involved in the disappearance.
If she came in, I don't know how she came in.
He says police told him they found blood, but only on that basement window.
I don't know if she was trying to get in the window or go out the window.
I wouldn't be surprised if she was alive, leaving that house on Oneida. And as a matter of fact, I would say she probably was alive when they left there.
It's still not clear, the sergeant says, where or exactly when she was killed. Police believe that after beating Amber inside the home on Oneida, her boyfriend followed her outside, where the attack continued. That, they say, could explain the call to Silent Observer after publicity about this case from a tipster describing what he had seen days earlier, not far from the home on Oneida.
Somebody early morning, that same morning, going to work, saw a man standing over a woman on the side of the road that we believe was likely him in the middle of assaulting her.
Police say the day that they searched that home on Oneida, they also discovered that Charles Walker, the owner of that home, also owned this home about a half-mile away on Wabascan. They say they searched the woods, and about 20 yards in, they found a pair of blood-stained women's pants.
There's a turnaround in that driveway, which, we're thinking likely she was transported there in a vehicle, and we're thinking that at some point her body ended up in the woods.
Then came the discovery that police say clinched the case, also outside the home on Wabascan.
Well, at the end of the turnaround, there was a receipt laying on the ground.
A receipt from Mick's Hardware in Battle Creek, $8 cash, dated June 23rd at 2:31 in the afternoon. That was about 12 hours after Amber's 911 call and the day before Derek Horton reported her missing.
We went to the hardware store, watched the video, and sure enough, it was Derek Horton on video purchasing a shovel.
Amber's boyfriend, that same man who would later report her missing, buying a $7.99 shovel made in China.
That receipt really sealed the deal, and to that point, that was when he went from being a cooperating boyfriend that was, acting as if he was concerned, acting as if he was trying to help the police find his missing girlfriend, to no more talking, lawyering up, and being lodged in the jail, which is where he's at now.
Police theorize Horton had dumped Amber in the woods off Wabascan before buying the shovel.
We have reason to believe that her body probably was laying, at least at some point. I don't know if she was dead or alive.
They believe he then returned to the woods with the shovel, but they don't know if he buried her or if he moved the body.
I have never been convicted of a violent crime.
Based on his appearance, he did not appear as if he was in very good shape. It's not easy work, so he could have gotten defeated and demoralized and said, hey, I got to do something else.
No, not if she.
Police say that Charles Walker's grandson, Julius Haggerty, drove Horton to the hardware store. They've charged him with lying to police and being an accessory after the fact for allegedly hiding evidence. Police say they searched the vacant home and outbuildings on Wabascan and the woods a dozen times with cadaver dogs, a drone, and a state police helicopter.
At this point, because we don't have her body, we don't know if she was strangled, maybe she was beaten to death. She could have been stabbed, she could have been shot. We truly don't know.
A body, he says, would make it easier to convict Horton of the most serious charge, first-degree murder.
We feel that we have a strong case that we could convince a jury that he is the one that is responsible for killing her.
Even without a body?
Correct.
Why do you think right here? Because I put a bunch of fallen stumps right here, and that tree looks really good.
The case is eerily similar to the 2010 murder of Venus Stewart in St. Joseph County. In that case, police found a Walmart receipt for a shovel, tarp, and gloves. That led them to a surveillance video showing her estranged husband, Doug Stewart, buying them at a store in Ohio. Even though her body was still missing, a jury quickly convicted Stewart of first-degree murder. Then, 2 years ago, Stewart led police to her remains in a woods, about 12 miles from where she was last seen.
He was seen walking muddy along Washington towards Baldwin.
And so, Amber's mom and volunteers keep searching.
We've been to Dudley School, we've been to the end of Oneida, we've been on Hubert, Hillsdale, Wilds, Washington School. We've been everywhere. Because they could have been digging in the wrong spot. And this ain't the only. We don't even know where to go anymore.
You keep coming back.
Something keeps making us come back here.
If you got a chance to talk to Derek right now, what would you say?
Just tell me where Amber's at. He already did the most by killing her, but he literally had to bury her to make sure nobody can have her back. just the type of person he is.